the hotline right now and welcome in really a man who needs no introduction. Hall of Famer and Avalanche legend Peter Forsberg on with Moshe Lombardi and Kane. And Peter, good morning. I wish it was under better circumstances, but this is important that we remember the man that Pierre Lacroix was and what he did for this town, this franchise, and really for the hockey world. Thanks for joining us. And what are your memories going to be, Peter, when you think back to a man who was so impactful on your career?
Yeah, no, hi guys. It's a tough day. He meant a lot to me. He was there when I played my best hockey, and we came from Quebec and then moved down to Denver, and I think we had a couple of different ownerships, but one guy that was always there was Pierre, and he was able to put an unbelievable team on the ice for the most of the time. But I think I talked to a few guys, and what most of us are saying, we remember him for his hockey, but we remember him almost more for what he did on the side. It's always a nice guy, and he took care of the whole, all the players, all the wives, and everybody. So, he did good hockey stuff, but he was also a great person.
He built a culture, and he started with the family that is the Avalanche and built outward from there. Peter, I want to get your specifics on, like, the year that you guys won your first cup, and you're moseying right along, and then Pierre Lacroix shocks the world by bringing in the great Patrick Waugh. Were you, as players, did you have any idea this was happening behind the scenes?
No, not really. I was so young. I barely could take care of myself. So, but I think he had Patrick as a client before, and so there was rumors, of course, when Patrick kind of decided to leave Montreal there, that he might be coming, and but little did I know how much of a winner Patrick was, and then Pierre brought in Claude Lemieux also, with a couple of winners. It's you can have good players, but then you also bring in some guys that really knows how to win, and I think it kind of brought the whole team there to a perspective. Okay, we have a chance to win.
Peter, it's interesting because you talk about the hockey side of things, and Vic did, but you talked about the family aspect of things, and I think that's kind of what maybe fans don't understand, and maybe it can't be this way in today's modern game. I don't know, but Pierre Lacroix really wanted to build that family atmosphere, that bond inside the organization, sort of I don't want to say us against the world, but you know what I mean. He really had these guys and you guys tight and took care of people and did things that I don't think a lot of people knew about. There's so many different aspects and facets to the man. I don't think that the average fan really even understands.
No, I think his whole family is like that. It's always nice and caring. And, of course, Pierre didn't want you to just come there. And I don't think he was that nice when he comes if he didn't perform. But I think if you were nice to him and you performed, then he really took you to his heart. And they asked me here in Sweden, and I had a couple of memories of him. And just when I was trying to make a comeback there for the Stanley Cup playoffs in the final against New Jersey, and I asked Pierre, like, is it okay that I play? He's like, not a chance. You're not playing. It's only Stanley Cup. I value you more as a person. I want you to still be alive. I'm not letting you play. And I think a couple of more times too, he was more okay. We understand you want to play, Peter, but I want you to be healthy. I want you to be good, and I want you to not be, something you suffer when you retire. So, yeah, he did. It was hockey, but he also took care of you on the side of the hockey. I think that's why so many people miss him right now, and he left us way too early.
Peter, I'll never forget that. You worked so hard to try and microwave your return from that spleen, and there you are on the brink of playing, and he said what he said. Hey, what was it about Pierre and the culture he built here that made great players want to come here, that made Ray Bourque want to come here, Korea, Solani, everybody? What is it that he did?
Well, it's, Pierre was, but he also had a good leader with Joe. Everybody with Joe and Pierre. I think it was what I felt like when you came to Colorado to play. Was because you wanted to win hockey games. You wanted to win championship. You didn't come to Colorado to play golf or really enjoy the side of everything. It was, you came there to win hockey games. I think he set the culture that, whatever players he brought in was players that had a good attitude to hockey and wanted to win hockey games. And I think he was really good scouting the ones that are hard into the game. And I think that's why the other players wanted to come too. When Ray came, of course, he had kind of one shot there in the end to win the Stanley Cup. He didn't have too many years left, and when he had the opportunity to come to Colorado, I think he bought into that culture that Pierre did with the Avalanche. So I think that's why so many guys wanted to come and play for Colorado. Even Teemu Selänne in Korea, they came cheap because they wanted to win the championship to come just to play for the organization.
Peter, it's interesting you say that, too, because he made a lot of deals. And I know that hockey fans, especially Avalanche fans, were always waiting to see what is Pierre going to do at the deadline. And he made a lot of other deals and did a lot of other things during the course of the season and the offseason. And not all of them worked out. But to me, he recognized it pretty quickly. And he said, okay, we'll fix this and we'll do this, about guys coming in and fitting in. And you knew what you had as a team already. You knew who you were, and Joe and Patrick and so on. But to bring those right guys in as well, it was an underrated aspect, I think, of, anybody can go make a signing, but they've got to be able to come into a situation, know their role, even if they're a superstar, and accept it and make it work. And he seemed just to be way better at the ability to do that.
Well, I think if you looked at the Avalanche organization too, I have a lot of people that were in the organization didn't want to leave. John Martineau is still there, Kovalovsky, a few other guys are still there. I think he built an organization that people wanted to stay in, and it's part of the scouting too, to tell the scouts what to look for. I think he maybe told them to look for the players that want to perform on the ice and not just collect the money. I think that was a big part of it. And I seen Pierre mad. I seen him, really into the game. He loved hockey, loved winning. He loved having the family atmosphere, and he had so many aspects. But it all led down to he wanted to, win games and have a good group of people around him.
Peter, a couple more here, and we appreciate your time. You are in Sweden. For the people that don't realize, it is just past 4 p.m. in Sweden as you're calling our show here in Denver, Colorado. And we'd be remiss if we didn't get your thoughts on how much you follow this young Avalanche team now, what you think of fellow Swede Gabriel Landeskog and his stewardship, his leadership. What are your thoughts on these Avs?
No, I think Avs are sitting in a really good spot right now. They have some really good players, and they're top 3 next year to win the championship. This year they had a lot of injuries coming down in the end, and for us too. When we had a couple of years that we lost here and there, but win every year. But I think Avalanche are sitting really good, and they have some leaders too that really want to win. McKinnon and Landeskog is right there, and they show on the ice every single night. I go over occasionally to see games, and I saw them against Tampa, and you can see how they play on the road. I think that's a key when you have good players and winners, and I think I can see in them that it wouldn't surprise me if they go all the way next year. I'm not going to throw out their favorites, but top 3 is definitely good talent, good third and fourth line that are really battle hard. So, a couple bounces and stay healthy, they'll be right there next year.
Pete, how much do you think Joe Sakic has benefited from learning under Pierre, just keeping things quiet? Joe's very good at that, man. Keeps things in-house, makes big deals, unexpected deals. You think it worked being around Pierre all those years for him?
Yeah, definitely. Whatever Pierre did, it worked, and so Joe was really close to. He was captain there for the whole time, and of course he was close to Pierre, and they know how he was be working. So, definitely he benefited from learning from Pierre. Not only, like I said, hockey, but just being a good person too.
Yeah, Peter, we appreciate your time very much as always. And again, wish it was under better circumstances. We'll do it again down the road when we get into the hockey season. But I'll tell you what, I know that you'll probably think back to those teams in your time in Colorado under Pierre Lacroix from for the rest of the day. But then from time to time, I'm sure you do that. And that was a very special time. Not only you guys as players and what you did for this city, but the architect in Pierre Lacroix and what he was able to put together. It's something that I don't know that you could ever duplicate that again. It was just a special time in sports and a special time in this town, and I hope that everybody remembers it that way.
Yeah, I hope so too. He's built a really good foundation for not only the team as were there right then, but also for now. It's Denver's kind of a hockey city, and he brought joy and ice hockey to Colorado, and like I said, of different ownerships, but Pierre was always there, and for us that were playing, when I think back, it was definitely my best part of my life, hockey-wise, when I was there. We had a good chance winning every year, and it was just new players and trading lead lines and landing at Bork and Blake and like whoever, Fleury, whatever came for the playoffs. You always knew with Pierre that something was going to happen, and he's going to give you a good chance to win. So, he's going to be badly missed, and my best to his family, to Eric and Marty and Coke especially. So, it's a sad day when he left us. But he did a lot of good things for Colorado, and I was just happy to get to know him for so long.
Peter, stay in touch, buddy. Good luck in Sweden.
Thank you. I'm in
All right, man.
by the way. So.
Oh, you're in Switzerland now. Beautiful.
I've been in Switzerland for 2.5 years. So.
Oh, okay.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter.
Thanks, Ben. And want to thank my good buddy John Zackham, who's a friend of Peter's, for scheduling that interview and making that happen. It's not often we get to talk to the great Peter Forsberg, but clearly our minds are with the late, great Pierre Lacroix.
Yeah, and his perspective, guys, is like a lot of, like all the guys in those teams. They're you can't get that perspective from anyone else. So it's great to have Peter